Those days were far better when I didn't believe in ghosts. I had been looking for a job for a while, just any job, to support my family. Then finally, I got a job at a small hotel as a receptionist. However, it was only for night shifts, even though I didn't want to do night shifts. But I accepted the job since I had no other option. A small hotel's night shift job can be difficult at times because sometimes you could be dealing with difficult customers, but it still is a fairly easy job. All you need is willpower to stay up all night. In other words, you get paid to sit in front of the laptop all night, with forcefully keeping your eyes open, pretending to be working. It can get pretty boring since you hardly see any customers during the night shifts, and I'm basically mostly on my own at the end of the night shift. I prepare a report for my manager and set up breakfast area after that. I'm free to go home. But my issue is, as the night grows and it starts to get darker and quieter, my heart starts to sink. Don't get me wrong. Yes, the hotel lobby is well lit, but it gets completely and utterly dark outside and very, very quiet. Another issue with my night shift job is that because it's a small hotel, there's no other co-workers with me on the night shift, so basically there's nobody to talk to, which makes this job even more depressing. Yes, I know. There's people in the rooms upstairs, probably sleeping right now, but that doesn't make a difference to me. The only somewhat cheerful moments are when, once in a while, some family checks in around 4 or 5 a.m., and greeting them might bring a momentary smile on my face. But then afterwards, there's again complete silence and a sense of weariness. I keep looking at the time, waiting impatiently for the clock to strike 7, so I could go home. There was something very sinister about this hotel. As soon as I would start my shift, I always felt being watched. This weird fear would take over me, as if someone or something was watching me through the darkness. And that feeling was so real, not my imagination. Let me tell you a little bit about how the hotel lobby is designed. First of all, there's a large entrance door, like hotels usually have, made of semi-transparent glass, which I would lock immediately as soon as I started my shift, right after the day staff left. When you walk a few steps down the hallway, from the main door you enter a small common area where there is a sofa and a small coffee table. Coffee table is covered with magazines on the right side. There's a door leading up to the breakfast area, which is also quite congested. There's another small door on the left-hand side, which brings you to the large swimming pool area. The hallway leading up to the swimming pool area, I feel, is designed very poorly, with no decorations whatsoever on the walls. Anyway, I don't really care about the interior design of this place because I don't get paid enough to care. All I care about is doing the tasks I'm assigned to do properly. Oh, and I keep the main door closed at all times. There's a doorbell on the right side of it, and I only open the door when a customer rings that bell. Although that main door should remain open 24/7 to welcome the guests. But since this hotel is in the middle of a highway and it's such a remote location too, it's best to keep that main door shut. Even the next petrol station is about 35 minutes away from here. It was my 3rd or 4th night at this job. It must be around 3 or 4 in the morning, and I was still not used to staying up all night. My eyes were heavy, and I kept feeling drowsy. And then there was a moment when I couldn't fight it anymore, and eventually fell into a deep sleep. That's when someone rang the doorbell. I woke up in an instant and ran towards the main door. Half asleep, I tried opening the door using the keys. That's when I looked through the glass There was no one outside. I thought someone probably left after waiting a while. I was fuming at myself for sleeping at the job. Worried sick about my boss. Finding out about this, he would fire me. If someone complained to him about this incident, I went straight to the breakfast area and made myself a strong cup of coffee. I was so ready to stay up alert all night. And then, only after a short while, someone rang the doorbell again. This time I sprinted towards the main door, looked outside, but strangely, there was still nobody there. I looked around wondering, who could that be? There was no chance of someone playing a prank on me either. After that, no one rang the doorbell all night. After a week at the job, I became used to staying up all night. In fact, my manager was quite happy with my performance. He gave me a really good feedback, which was extremely motivating. I desperately needed that. However, instead of giving me a bonus, he added more onto my responsibilities, like managers usually do. He asked me to clean up the swimming pool area. After sorting at the breakfast tables, I said, okay, it wasn't such a difficult task, and I was happy enough to take on extra responsibilities to pass the time. But one thing that my manager forgot to mention was that the swimming pool area was very poorly lit. There were only 4 40WT bulbs in the 4 corners of the walls. Why did they even bother to put them up? They weren't even doing anything. It was the biggest room in the whole hotel, with such poor lighting, and this was making the swimming pool boundary walls seem even further away than they actually were. One thing that my manager forgot to mention was that the swimming pool area was very poorly lit. There were only 4 40-watt bulbs in the 4 corners of the walls. Why did they even bother to put them up? They weren't even doing anything. It was the biggest room in the whole hotel with such poor lighting, and this was making the swimming pool boundary walls seem even further away than they actually were. Sometimes, when I looked at the pool, I felt that something is suddenly going to emerge out of the dark water and grab my feet and pull me in it, and there will be nobody to save me. I shrugged off these thoughts and diverted my attention towards cleaning the pool. As I was trying to pick out some leaves and sticks from the pool, I saw a dark shadow of someone behind me in the water. I turned to look behind me so fast that I was nearly about to fall in the water. That shook me to my core. I was shaking all over, but there was nobody there. I looked at the pool water again, but there was nothing. No sign of anything or anyone. Somehow, I managed to clean the rest of the pool, quickly locked the door of the swimming pool area, and rushed back to the counter. I tried sharing this incident with my morning shift colleagues, but instead of believing me, they thought I was making it all up to scare them, or this was all in my head. It infuriates me that no one is believing me. After a month of working at this hotel, I had the most terrifying experience of my life. I heard in the news that there will be a massive storm tonight, which might result in power cut for a couple of hours. While I was sitting in the common area, watching this news, all of a sudden the lights went out. I received a call from one of the guests complaining about power cut. And why doesn't the hotel provide a power backup generator? I tried to calm him and explain to him that the generator broke down only yesterday, and we are very sorry for the inconvenience caused. After a few minutes of giving out to me, he hung up. I thought I should find my torch and go back to the counter in case any other customer comes down with a complaint. Thank God. The manager at least had provided me a torch in case anything like this happened. But there was one issue with this torch. It was quite old, and it sometimes didn't even work properly. When I tried to turn it on, the light was flickering and it was very dull. I was standing in the hallway with the torch in my hand when I heard this strange noise of a woman sobbing or moaning in pain. I was moving the torch around everywhere to see where the sound was coming from. It sounded like the sound was coming through the walls, like someone was in pain and moaning, but I couldn't pinpoint exactly where. And slowly, that sound started sneaking up on me, coming closer and closer. And then I saw her. She was standing only a few feet away from me. Her face seemed disfigured, and her body was twisted. My whole body was shaking and trembling with fear when the lights came back. She also disappeared with the darkness. I couldn't fathom what happened. It took me some time to get the hold of myself. Then, quietly, I went back to the counter. Don't know how I managed to pass the night and left an hour before my shift ended. As soon as I reached home, I called my boss that I won't be coming to work tonight because I'm not feeling well, to be honest. I wanted to leave this job immediately, but I knew how hard it was to find a job for me. It was a pity that I couldn't afford to leave this job. After that, whenever I tried to sleep, as soon as I closed my eyes, the disfigured face of that woman haunted me. Thank God, the power came back at the right time. Otherwise, God knows what could have happened. It's now been 4 months since I've been working here. If it was 6 months, then I could have left this job. But a work experience of 4 months is useless. It's nighttime now, and I've arrived at the hotel. According to the news, tonight is again going to be a very stormy night. I have bought a new torch and have fully charged my laptop. I have kept an extra battery as well, just in case if the power cuts again. My extra laptop battery should last me the whole night. Damn it, I think I left the torch in the car. Low battery, warning, I can't see anything. Where did I put the other battery? Oh no, 5 years ago, in one of the rooms of the hotel, a woman was brutally murdered by one of the hotel's night shift staff member. The incident happened during a power cut. Woman's disfigured body was found the next morning, but there was no sign of the staff member who committed this crime. Disfigured body of the night shift receptionist was found on the floor next day. No one found the evidence or proof of who killed her.